Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much for Örs Ország for his presentation. This is the development which is the first in the District Smart City program, the first strategic element. That means a long-term development. When the first version came out, we were thinking how to disseminate it among the residents and how to make it popular to use the mobile device and use the application. To the fact that we ensure this for the residents, it's also a sense of community, strengthening the community. It has economic, information and environmental purposes also that it serves. We had a brainstorming when we were taking into account the various opportunities. There were 6 or 8 of us sitting around the table. We couldn't say anything that was not ensured in the application package. So I think this development can be taken further on the long term. As Örs mentioned, in the end, in the holiday voucher was also integrated into the application, which increased the number of registered residents. So in the future, the interest of the residents and feedback from the residents is very important to check in the future as well. I think in this development has a great future and it can be integrated very well. Other sources, other functions can be integrated, the route for you, for wheelchair users and for strollers, and accessibility functions can also be integrated, as it has been said. Now I would like to give the floor to myself, because now I would like to summarize last year's conference. Some people couldn't be here virtually, and I want to summarize what was said and what we can add with this conference to last year's value. I'd like to emphasize that in this situation, we will listen to individual presentations, so these will not be a long predefined concept. I think first, let's go through last year's concept and summary. Amsterdam, Barcelona, Newcastle, Australia, from South Wales, Oulu from Finland, and Vienna held presentations on last year's conference. And I chose the method that 1 or 2 slides from the presenters from last year I will bring as a reminder, and we'll speak about what conclusions we have and lessons we have learned. The Amsterdam presentation was very useful. Back then we thought that Holland is a country where the smart city developments are very useful and coordinated and really resident-oriented and citizen-centered. I hope that today's Rotterdam presentation will also strengthen this. I know the Rotterdam situation quite well, and I'm sure that they will have a lot of value added. The Amsterdam Smart City presentation last year was a very good comparison. The livable, happiness-centered concept and context, and learning through actions concept. They would like to get in Amsterdam to a higher level, an even higher level. A very strong digital transformation program is what they are implementing. Some very serious examples were shown in the presentation last year. Social inclusion program is traditionally very strong, even without the smart cities concept in Amsterdam. The examples that later were introduced also prove this. On the one hand, the Smart City program was also prepared with a social dialogue, and they have brainstorming among the citizens what they want smart cities solutions for. And in the implementation, residents and communities and companies are also involved. Trust is the next serious notion. And let me put it this way, in Amsterdam, it is also worth implementing this notion: trust towards the municipality, trust towards cooperation, trust in each other among partners, so that nobody wants to rule another, but they will implement goals, the predefined goals together. There is an ethics background in Amsterdam that has also gone through social dialogue and developed through social dialogue, and this saying that is at the bottom of the page, that if you want to change the game, you need to change the rules. As before in the ambassador's block we have heard, in the period after the COVID virus, we have to really seriously reconsider what future cities want to build. Mr. Fernast, I would like to include one more slide from Mr. Fernast's presentation. Change. Managing change is a very important task for a city, which actually the municipality cannot do alone, even in Amsterdam. So therefore they set up a cooperation system where the most important points in the strategic plan of the city are assigned corporate and private corporations with which they can implement their goals in a more cost-efficient way. For example, in the field of energy, the fossil energy, the transition from fossil energy to clean energy, to solutions. They elaborate solutions for sustainable energy use by installing solar panels, creating and installing windmills. But obviously there is a much more serious background work in this. For example, something that was obvious in Amsterdam as well, that they set up energy communities where the residential energy is generated by cooperatives that cooperate with each other. I think this will come up in the Viennese presentation as well. This is a very useful presentation, or very useful solution. Let's see the area of digital solutions, where the municipality of Amsterdam, the city council, set up a system where the technological solutions always represent social value and strengthen social value. Mobility in crowded and polluting cities, the goal is to lead to sustainable solutions. And here, for example, solar-powered water vehicles is the example that I really liked, which are actually driverless in Holland in the channels, and they don't pollute the environment anymore. And based on experiences so far, they can also operate in a safe way. Circular economy is what I left last, because I think this is where the lowest level of understanding is in Hungary, and this is where we can learn the most. These are solutions where not only the recycling and selective waste collection is what is important, but an even larger notion, the creation of green industry, in which I think the Netherlands is leading in Europe. Our next presenter, I would like to show 2 slides from the next presenter from last year, from Australia, from Newcastle. In 2016, they set up the Smart City strategy there, and immediately in that year, they have become and they have won the Smartest City Award in Australia. A very well considered and very complex strategy is what they created, and in the implementation, in the digitalization package, suddenly when COVID arrived, the municipality decided to provide help to the residents and the economy as well. And as the Vice Mayor and Örs Ország have also mentioned, they created an application where residents could get good points and scores by doing good. If they help their neighbor, their fellow residents or citizens by mowing the lawn, walking someone else's dog. And a movement started without very strict rules. As I looked at their homepage yesterday, by now this has grown into a quite sophisticated system. But the way it started was actually that why wouldn't I give 2 good points to my neighbor if they have done the shopping for me during COVID when I was afraid to go to the shop? So these 2 points, my neighbor could use these 2 points in the discount system organized by the municipality. Let's say a 3rd coffee for free was given, or I could get 15% discount on a pantyhose in a shop. So let me make a remark here. I was taking part in an international project. Santiago de Compostela had also given good points for selective waste collection, and they tried to expand it on a European level, this initiative. The most important part was that those people who collected waste selectively, they could get good points, and through an online shop, they could redeem these points for discounts, let's say with third parties, for free coffee and other purposes. However, the prestige of this in Santiago de Compostela has become so big and high that in the town, in the VIP seats, in the town events, the people who achieved the highest points in the system could get the VIP seats in the town events. And this has given high prestige to this initiative. This is the Newcastle mobile application that we can see now on the screen. However, the next slide is from Finland, also from last year. Oulu, the city of Oulu, which was the center of Nokia. When Nokia fell into a crisis and they expected the bankruptcy, the Nokia invented that they want to prevent the biggest crisis, and with the Oulu region, they sat down and invented an initiative. They created 6 topics, and in these areas, they started PPPs, public-private partnership solutions, and this has become so successful that they simply almost as many jobs they could create as the number of jobs that were cut. This cooperation that was set up has grown into a very serious ecosystem, and they have worked very hard, and they had very strict economic regulations in place to develop Oulu and its neighborhood. They have achieved already European level developments. Urban Innovation Vienna, who are also going to deliver a presentation today, I want to just say 2 sentences about last year's presentation. Mr. Reis had a very good presentation. I think 2 lessons were very important. One is that if a big city like Vienna really puts among the strategic goals to implement the smart and innovative city in the future, and they are proud that to be the most livable city in the world for 8 or 9 years, and they provide institutional framework as well, and they set up the Urban Innovation Company in Vienna, which has 3 pillars: the energy center, focusing on innovative energies; the future city, that is focusing on city concepts; and the smart city agency, that hopefully can also be a partner in the future.
The Viennese smart city strategy defined these 4 challenges. I'm stealing the show from the presenter because I also could see this slide in the presentation, but I believe that this is actually quite a good direction for even a small district. So the strategy is very important, and it covers most areas, and they had very innovative solutions for it. And I believe these smart, innovative solutions will be used for the constructions in the future. And in the last slide, I wanted to show you a mask where, in connection with the smart city, I tried to collect all of the terms or concepts in order to give you more of a visual souvenir after this presentation.